So at this point, we've learned how to basically do everything. We've worked with overhead and side fill, and we've worked with side fill exclusively. Now what we want to do is sort of put it all together, and let's look at special lighting effects. This is using the underlighting, and we can combine that with gels and everything else that we've learned at this moment. So you'll see I still have my product set up on the table. I have a black absorber in place and I have a silvered reflector in place. That will bounce the side fill into the bottle. The overhead is off, and now what we're going to do is we're going to start using the underlight. There are two ways we can work with the underlight. We can use the underlight as the main, or we can use the side fill as the main. Simple rule of thumb, one has got the main light on, one does not. Right now, you'll notice, of course, our side fill has the main light on. We're going to leave that on, and we're just going to turn on the underlight as if it were the side fill. So once again, we're turning on the small or the big button, not the small button. If I hit the test, sure enough, I've got some lighting. You will also notice underneath here, we also have a nice clamp and a preset template for holding gels. The whole point of underlighting is that we can do some color washing. So in our second drawer, you will find a collection of colored gels. And you will notice that I have given very specific depictions or descriptions of exactly how to use each gel, both for photography and in fact for video and for acting. So this is a dual function reference file that can be used by video students as well. What I've grabbed out of there today are two gels, one of a nice light phthalo blue and one of a much more deeper ultramarine blue. We're going to try the ultramarine by itself, and then we're going to actually layer two gels together to get an extra level of blue. Okay, so let's start with just the ultramarine blue, and we're going to slip that on a template. I'm going to pull that out so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So I open up that clamp, and there is our gel template. And you can simply position your gel template on there, and you will find that there is some nice low-tack double-sided tape that will tack your corners into position. And there you go. You've got your blue gel ready to go. I'll clamp that back into position, hanging over the light. It is a little cozy under here. You will get used to that. And that should give us a nice blue wash up behind our product. So let's give that a stab and let's see if that works. We'll position our camera. Okay. Once again, you will notice that the light that is being used as the main is set to 1/3. And both lights are on. Underneath is also set to 1/3, but of course the main is not on. So we have a main up here and just a strobe underneath. That should give us some good fill on the product with a nice blue wash going up the back. So let's see what that looks like. We'll just kill the ambience there, and we'll take a shot. I am working currently at f16 because I have two lights going. Take our shot. And there's our nice blue wash running up there. Now, as you want to play with more or less intensity, there are basically two ways that you can come at that. You can basically lower your aperture to create more mood, or you can saturate your gel by adding more. So first, let's try a lower aperture, and then we'll try doubling up the gel. So the first thing I'm going to do is take that down one full stop. So that's 1/3, 2/3, 3/3. I'm now at f22. And we'll take that same shot with the wash going up the back, and there is a lovely blue wash. You will notice that the product is still visible, and you will notice, of course, that I get a lovely highlight there. Let's just press play again. I get a lovely highlight there, courtesy of the side fill. So the side fill is acting as the main, and I'm getting a beautiful blue wash up the back. Now, let's try double saturating that blue by adding the phthalo on top of the ultramarine. And again, you can just lay that right on top. There we go. So static will hold that in place, and now I'm going to have a very, very strong blue wash coming through there. That means that I can probably open the aperture up again. Reposition our camera, and let's take that shot. And once again, you will see nice rich blue through there, nice highlight, secondary highlight coming from the reflector. Everything is beautifully visible. At this point, we can switch around. What we can do is we can make now a little bit stronger underwash by turning it to the main, and a slightly softer fill by turning that into the fill. So first things first, let's turn on the underside. That's my bad. Let's turn on the underlight onto a main. So we hit the small switch, and of course we can see that clear as day. That is now the main fill. Now you can see your blue wash automatically, and we turn the side fill into the support roll. Again, let me just hit the ambience here. Again, because we're using the cable, we will trip both lights. As long as one light has the cable connected, both lights will trip. So we'll kill the ambient, and now you can see quite clearly our main light is underneath. One thing you'll want to be careful of is any cast shadows. If necessary, we can knock that out with some black card or whatever we might like. It shouldn't matter because where I'm looking, I should not see it. And there is the opposite, and you'll see virtually the same effect. I have a strong blue wash with nice side fills and reflected highlights. So really it is almost immaterial which one you use as the main. You guys will likely prefer using the side fill for the main and using the underlight for the wash. Now there is one other way that we can use the underlighting. And we can use that, instead of doing a wash behind the product in a color, we can actually give the product that ethereal internal light. And to do that, we're going to do a slightly different variation. Let's turn this back on as the main, and let's turn the underlight back to a strobe only. So once again, that is the small switch on the lights, and now that is in a strobe function. We're going to take off the gel, and we're going to move that clamp out of the way. And we'll put the gel over here for the time being. And we're going to grab what is known in many circles as a light gun. We're basically taking a conical unit. You can see that it has steps that take us down to a small aperture. We actually have a honeycomb filter and gels built into the end of this. So if you push that out, you will notice that you can take out the honeycombing. And what we're going to do here, you'll notice that this gun comes with 4 colored gels. So we're going to leave that plastic insert in, that is the support. We're going to drop in a yellow filter, drop the honeycomb back in, and then I can position that on the end of the light gun. What's going to happen now is this is going to sit on the underlight, which is going to focus that light into an intense beam. The honeycomb is going to make it all go straight. It's going to get a yellow gel, and we're going to position that directly under the product to make the product look like it has an internal yellow light. So we will take the gun, and you will simply position it on the light as such. It sits right down nicely in the barn doors. And then, of course, all we have to do is aim that gun directly underneath the product. And we should get a nice yellow splash. And if you're filming there, let's just give it a quick test. Yeah, you can see that clear as day. You can see that beautiful light coming through there. And if I give it a quick strobe, and you can see that as well. That's a nice way to also aim and make sure that we've got it. All right. Let's kill the ambience, and let's see what happens when we underlight with a gun. This, by the way, is how the photographers get that beautiful ethereal light in the glass of whiskey. And we'll position our camera, take our shot, and with any luck, you can most definitely see that. Let me just rotate that. Quite clear as day, there is a yellow underlight there. Now in this particular case, this is a poor example because clearly I don't have a liquid that really suits this underlighting, but as you can see, that clearly will light up the meniscus, it will light up any of the liquid inside and create quite a nice effect. With all of this in mind, then there are many opportunities for you to experiment using gels for coloring effect. These are crude examples of what is possible. Most of this will have to be done on a one-to-one basis, so if you imagine that your shot can have color washed backgrounds or underlighting, please consult me individually.